What is going on, everybody? It's Flash. We're back again for a Monday Night Raw review for July 16, 2018. Monday Night Raw just got one off the air. We are one step closer to a number one contender for the Universal Championship at SummerSlam, and I just gotta wonder why the outcomes we got tonight. What was the point in them? Last night we had Extreme Rules, where we had Bobby Lashley versus Roman Reigns, and nothing on the line. That's a big reason why I probably wasn't in the main event, which was good. But then we turn around tonight and we had two triple threat matches. And who won those triple threat matches with the winners going on to next week to face each other? Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns. So someone tell me, what was the point of last night's match? Couldn't you just said, well, we'll just have the number one contendership match last night. No, we're going to hold it off again until next week. Makes no sense why they did that. Just no sense at all. You have Bobby Lashley come out after Extreme Rules last night on the post show and say he wants to face Brock Lesnar. Now it's going to be Roman Reigns versus Bobby Lashley next week in an Extreme Rules rematch. It makes absolutely no sense. We also had the continuation of the Bayley and Sasha Banks storyline, which I don't know how to feel with how they're going with this. I mean, we had Bayley come into Kurt's office, and he put those two in a match against two people who really nobody cares about, with Dana Botch and Alicia Fox, all that shit. And then we got a backstage segment between those two, which was something out of left field I didn't expect to actually see, but we'll let you think about that also later on. We also had ourselves, let me think here, Tyler Breeze and Mojo Rawley, nobody gives a crap about. Bobby Roode versus Dolph Ziggler, which Dolph Ziggler being the Intercontinental Champion and being the Iron Man last night with the help of Drew McIntyre. Bobby Roode comes out and pretty much challenges him for the title. Ziggler doesn't give him that and gives him just a normal match. The match was okay, but what does this lead? Are we going to see Bobby Roode versus Dolph Ziggler continue, or is this a one-off? I mean, didn't we just see these two last year when Bobby Roode came to the main roster right after SummerSlam? The whole storyline was Dolph Ziggler didn't like Bobby Roode because he was just an entrance, and that was it. He was just an entrance, and that was it. And yet we go less than a year later, and these two are fighting again. AOP faced Titus Worldwide again, and same old. And Ember Moon still, for some reason, has a problem. Like, the Riot Squad had some bone to pick with Ember Moon out of nowhere, and Ember Moon loses her first match on the main roster in one of the most anticlimactic ways ever. Not a cool night. And of course, we did have our two triple threat matches for the night. Angle did start the show off, and he was just so ready to strip Brock Lesnar of the Universal Championship when Paul Heyman makes his way outside of the ring to make sure that doesn't happen.
And I gave Brock an ultimatum. He can either show up here tonight on Raw or agree to terms of when his next title defense would be, or I'd be stripping Brock Lesnar of the Universal Championship. And I'm serious. It's been over 24 hours, and I have not heard a word from Brock or his representatives. So I am hereby stripping Brock Lesnar of the Universal.
I was half expecting, because this would be something WWE would do, is that he starts saying, I am stripping Brock Lesnar of the WWE, of the Universal Championship, and the Wicked Witch of the West, Stephanie McMahon's music would have hit, and we would have had to have Stephanie back on our TV. Thank the wrestling gods that didn't happen. It was Paul Heyman.
Gentlemen, right now, ladies and gentlemen,
My name is Paul Heyman.
the reigning, defending, undisputed, Universal Heavyweight Champion, Brock choice. I am stripping Brock Lesnar. Whoa. Hold on. What Brock Lesnar wants to do is Brock Lesnar wants to represent the entire WWE Universe and challenge for the UFC Heavyweight Championship with the Universal title strapped tightly around his waist.
Bullshit.
Well, if that's Brock's goal, more power to him. I'm going to keep this simple. Brock Lesnar will defend the Universal Championship at SummerSlam, or he is no longer champion. Brock Lesnar will defend the Universal title at SummerSlam. When I came back to
Bobby Lashley makes his way out to the ring
WWE, I had two
to plead his case.
I accomplished the first by defeating Roman Reigns at Extreme Rules. Now it's time to accomplish the other. That's defeat Brock Lesnar and win the Universal title. Why exactly?
Drew McIntyre makes his way to the ring, which was pretty nice to see him get a chance to fight for a chance to be Universal, to get to face Brock Lesnar. Drew McIntyre, hopefully by the end of this year, will be in the Universal Championship picture for the rest of this year.
I came back to the WWE. I came back to ensure the Intercontinental title stayed around Dolph Ziggler's waist. That was phase one. And now I think it's time for phase two. The Universal Championship.
Then we got Seth Rollins, who came out, and all these guys so far have pretty much, they have say that, yeah, they could probably be number one contenders if WWE would want them to be.
Kurt, if you're looking for an opponent for Brock Lesnar, I'm right here.
Then Elias makes his way to the ring, one of the ones that I was like, really? Elias? Of all people? Okay.
A lot of noise going on in this ring. Let me tell you, nothing sounds nicer than Elias as Universal Champion. Two was the
Finn Balor, which I don't expect him to ever be. This will probably be the closest he gets to wrestling for a shot at the Universal Championship for the rest of his career.
The first Universal Champion.
A shell of your former self, Finn Balor. A shell of your former self. Stop the smiling, man.
So I think it only makes sense that it should be Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar.
I don't have any excuses.
And of course, you knew Roman Reigns would have to be a part of this entire talking point because he is the big dog who still calls himself the uncrowned Universal Champion, which he is not. If you watch that video back again, his feet did not touch first. Then it's all in video form too.
Damn sure don't care about.
Anyway, I hit the wrong button. Anyway, these six guys just sit here and bicker and Kurt Angle decides we're going to make two triple threat matches. Two triple threat matches. The winners of these two triple threat matches will face off next week on Monday Night Raw, and the winner goes to SummerSlam. He makes Elias versus Rollins versus Lashley was the main event, and Roman versus Balor versus McIntyre. One gripe about these two matches that I did not like was why you had Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre in the same match, which I would have rather see Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre as the one-on-one match next week. We didn't get that, of course. To me, it would have made a little bit more sense to have maybe Elias, if you wanted to keep these, put Elias in the first match, have McIntyre in the second one, because you already have that built-in mini fire between Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins to continue the feud after last night and last week, of course. But no, you gave us Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor to start off the show. And this match was a decent match. It was a good match. Drew McIntyre was definitely the standout guy for the match. And I tweeted it out. I was halfway through the match, and I'm like, it's going to be a lot more disappointing with the fact that he's dominating this entire match, and then he's going to go on to not win. That pretty much is what happened. Drew McIntyre dominated the majority of this match. He also was the one to introduce a steel chair into the match. It is a triple threat, so there are no rules. I'm sitting there thinking, like, thank you. I've been wanting somebody to use some kind of hardcore type, like some kind of weapon or something in these triple threat matches, just to make it interesting. And Drew McIntyre definitely did that. But Finn Balor also did get to use the steel chair as well, making it a lot more Match comes to an end where you get a coup de grace from Finn Balor to Roman Reigns. Looks like he's going to win. Drew McIntyre pulls him out of the ring. Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre end up back in the ring, and Drew McIntyre is going to go for the Claymore onto Roman. Misses Roman, barely clips Finn Balor. He gets Superman punched out of the ring. Finn Balor eats a spear, 1, 2, 3, and of course, predictable, Roman Reigns moves on to next week. There was a cool little spot in this match, though, on the outside where Roman Reigns was taken out, and I'll give him this one. And Finn Balor had Drew McIntyre, was trying to get him up, and he's saw the corner of his eyes, Roman Reigns charging, so he moves out of the way, and McIntyre just eats a spear into the ringside crew area. Really nice looking spot. In the back we had in the Baron Corbin angle. Baron Corbin is not happy. Well, this is before this match, of course, but Corbin's not happy. He's like, what are you thinking? Did you consult Stephanie McMahon? Angle's like, what? I didn't think I had to. That's your problem. You don't think. And you didn't put me in one of these matches. Why? He's mad that he made the triple threat matches, but he's more mad that he's not in one of them, and rightfully so. So, that was after that match. Let me see here. Oh, then we had Bayley in Kurt Angle's office. They do not have the clip for that, but they do have the one. We'll talk about that later. Bayley's in the office, and Kurt Angle talks about counseling. She says it didn't go real well. Both of them tried to meet halfway, and it just didn't work out. So, he makes a tag team match with Bayley and Sasha Banks against Dana Brooke and Alicia Fox. If they don't get along, one of them is going to be shipped to SmackDown. So I'm thinking, like, really? Now, the thing about this is if you wanted to, you could always have, like, a talent exchange where this was to happen this way, which it didn't. You could have had, like, Bayley or Sasha Banks move to SmackDown and have Becky Lynch move to Raw just to mix it up. That didn't happen. Ziggler out for a promo, and he is just being Mr. Gloatsville. He is gloating about last night being the Iron Man, about beating Seth Rollins, he beat Seth Rollins 5 times, and he's like saying he's happy that Seth Rollins did everything he could to make the Intercontinental Championship as prestigious as it is, and Seth Rollins was actually one of the better Intercontinental Champions in the last 5 or so years. That's not hard to do, actually, but you get what I'm saying. And then he gets interrupted by Bobby Roode, who says that with all the credit you're taking, you're not giving any credit to, all the credit you're giving, you're not giving any to Drew McIntyre, because Drew McIntyre is the reason that you're the Intercontinental Champion still. If Drew McIntyre doesn't wig out like he did last night and take out Seth Rollins, you would probably have lost. You would have been shut out, no pinfalls, no nothing. Leads to a match where these two had a decent match here. Bobby Roode tweaks his knee at the end of the match, looks for a glorious DDT, can't pull it off, ends up eating a super kick for the 1, 2, 3, and Dolph Ziggler beats Bobby Roode. In the back, we have Bobby Roode look like he's sulking because he just lost his match. When you hear like golf clapping from Mojo Rawley, Mojo comes up to him and pretty much blatantly says, "And you're supposed to be glorious." and he walks off. Hopefully this is like a wake-up call for Bobby Roode to turn heel like he should have been coming out of NXT, where he was the hottest and best heel in WWE at the time. But for some reason they decided we're just going to keep him as, we're going to bring him in as a babyface, which did not work, and it hasn't worked. Then we had Mojo Rawley versus Tyler Breeze. Tyler Breeze did get in some offense. It was nice to see. It was nice to see Tyler Breeze get some on-screen time. I thought he was just going to be in catering for the rest of his career. He ends up getting beat by a very pissed off Mojo Rawley towards the end of this match. Like, Tyler Breeze looks to be trying to play, like, goof around with Mojo Rawley. Mojo Rawley's not having it. Hits a pounce in the ring. Sets him up in the corner, hits a running fist, corner fist, pulls him up and hits a very brutal looking Alabama slam. He like lifted him up and just threw him down with all authority. It was not nice at all. We did have Braun Strowman in the back addressing the triple threat matches as well. I think I missed it when this happened, but he does come out here. He does get asked by Renee Young why he didn't come out for his opportunity when, of course, he's Money in the Bank. But here's Braun Strowman addressing the triple threat matches from tonight.
We've all seen incredible footage of what you did to Kevin Owens last night, but now it's 24 hours of hindsight. Do you have any regrets at all for what you did to Kevin?
Actually, Renee, I do regret. I regret that I didn't have an opportunity to congratulate Kevin Owens on his victory last night.
He's got a cocky smile on his face while he says it too. Oh, Braun Strowman.
As far as the 2 triple threat matches, why did you decide that you did not want to step up for an opportunity to face Brock Lesnar?
This. And no matter who wins one of those matches tonight, or who wins at SummerSlam, I've got a contract for a Universal title opportunity. Any time, any place.
And that is all we'll see from Braun Strowman. But Renee Young, really? You ask him that kind of question when he's Mr. Monster or Money in the Bank? Why would he go out there and be like, listen, I want a shot at the Universal Championship even though I have this right here? Who scripted that for her to ask that question? Because that has got to be one of the dumbest questions I think she could have asked Braun Strowman. Seriously, why would you ask that question? Then we had Bayley and Sasha Banks versus Alicia Fox. This match doesn't go very long at all. We do have Bayley getting beat up on the outside by Dana Brooke and Alicia Fox. And then Sasha Banks comes over, and this made no sense to me at all. The referee is just telling, she's beating up on Alicia Fox and Dana Brooke on the outside, Sasha Banks is. And the referee's like, no, don't do it. Like she's not a legal participant in this match. Like, he calls a DQ at the end of this match for what reason, I don't know. He just, like, it just made no sense. Like, you see tag teams beat the heck out of each other on the outside all the time. But in this particular match, Bayley's getting beat up by the other two. Sasha Banks comes over and she goes and beats the hell out of the other two, does a running splash off the apron, and the bell rings. She walks off, and Bayley's sitting there wondering what the hell. We go to the back, and Sasha Banks gets brutally honest about her friendship with Bayley.
Sasha, what was that all about? Sasha, stop. Look, one thing for me to beat you up, but I'll be damned if anybody else does. Means you care. Yes, I care. I've always cared. Look, you know I hate talking about my feelings, but you always do this, okay? I love that you're a good person. I love that you love everybody. I love that you want to be friends with everybody. I love that little girls look up to you. I love that you're always there for me when I don't even ask you to be. For some reason, you always can tell when something's wrong. But I just don't understand why you don't get it. I love you. I always have, and I always will. There, I said it.
To be continued. I don't know where this is going, but that was not the route I expected this to go. So you had Bayley, what was it, 3 weeks ago, beat the holy hell out of Sasha Banks, and it looked like we had an evil Bayley on our hands, which would have been interesting change for her character. And now we have Sasha Banks getting brutally honest about how her actual feelings towards Bayley. Where this goes and what they're going to do next, I don't have a clue. This is one of the most perplexing storylines I think I've ever seen in a long while. I just don't know where they're going to go from here at all. Moving on here, we had the B team versus the Ascension, and for whatever reason, we come back from break, and the B team came out, and we come back from break. They didn't have the opponents out there yet, and the match has already started. And Michael Cole says the title defense for the B team is not getting off to a good start. I'm like, I don't remember this ever being called a tag team title match, but okay. B team ended up winning after elevated neck breaker for the 3 count. Hardy and Wyatt show up on the Titantron after, and they invoke the rematch clause for next week. So what will happen next week? I do not know, but it looks like we're going to have the B team versus Hardy, the leader of worlds, again next week. Alexa Bliss versus Mickie James. Alexa Bliss and Mickie James are out next. Alexa, of course, out here being the most. I heard last night something. If it's true, really pisses me the fuck off about Alexa Bliss. And if this is true, and from what I've seen her over the last few months or last year, makes it believe that it could be true. That Alexa Bliss does not like taking bumps. She wants to do as little as she can and get to be one of the. Like, if you don't want to take bumps, if you're afraid to take bumps, get the hell out of the wrestling business. If you don't like taking bumps, get the hell out of the wrestling business. You're wasting people's time. People don't want to see somebody come into the wrestling business, do almost nothing, and be given every ample opportunity to do whatever the fuck they want. You kill the business doing that. There is absolutely no reason you should even be in the position that you're in if you're going to sit there and be someone who doesn't want to work as hard as others. Get the hell out and stay out. Plain and simple. But she's talking about Extreme Rules and how she beat Nia Jax in a major upset, and she starts mentioning Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey's supposed to be suspended for the next 2 days. She's supposed to be suspended till Wednesday, when all of a sudden you see the crowd cheering and going crazy, and up in the crowd you see Ronda Rousey coming down through the crowd like the Shield used to do. And Alexa Bliss and Mickie James are trying to slowly get out of Dodge. They're not running for their lives, because when they left the ring, Ronda Rousey was halfway up the stairs still. So if they would have just ran to the back, they would have been fine. But they're just sitting there, looking like buffoons, sitting there, getting away from Ronda Rousey until Ronda Rousey meets them up on the stage. And you hear the announcers like, "Where's Kurt Angle? Where's the security? Why is Ronda Rousey even here? She's not supposed to be here until next week." Ronda Rousey ends up chasing Alexa Bliss and Mickie James out into the ring. Catches up to Mickie James. Looks like she's about ready to hurt, or put the armbar onto Mickie James, but Alexa Bliss and officials pull her out. They start leaving. Ronda Rousey's like, "I ain't done with this, bitch." She goes out. She gets out of the ring, runs up, and splashes everyone down. Pulls Alexa Bliss by her hair back to the ring. Looks like she's going to go and break her arm when Kurt Angle finally comes out. Alexa Bliss and Mickie James can get back on the stage, and Kurt Angle tells her to calm down. You're supposed to be suspended for the next 2 days. Go home and let's cool down. Baron Corbin comes out and is like, "Cool down. She needs to be reprimanded. She spit in the face of authority and she needs to pay." So Kurt Angle decides he's going to attack just another week on. So I don't know if that's until next Monday or the week after that. I don't know. But he does also make a match for SummerSlam, where, of course, it's going to be Alexa Bliss versus Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's Championship, and I'm telling you right now, that match needs to be over like that. We need to have Ronda come in, like, do a, what is that called? Like, just grab her legs and flip her down, get her in the armbar, tap her out, and end it. Just end it. Don't need to see that match last more than a minute, if that. So, yeah. That is going to be that is the first official match completed for SummerSlam, Ronda Rousey versus Alexa Bliss. As long as Ronda Rousey adheres to her suspension and does not pull any more, I'm going to come in when I'm suspended to beat some ass. So I'm pretty sure when he says a week, it's going to be until next Wednesday. So she won't be on TV until the week after next. So, yes, Ronda Rousey versus Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam, where hopefully Alexa Bliss will have her arm torn off so we don't see her for about 6-7 months. Just saying. Authors of Pain versus Titus Worldwide. I actually went to go, touch up my mustache and need to trim it down. I was like, I need to trim my mustache today because it's just getting a little out of hand. And this match was the ample opportunity to do that because the AOP beat these guys last week, if I'm pretty sure. So why would I care? Apollo Crews ends up getting murdered by the AOP, so does Titus O'Neil, and AOP win with the last chapter. Not much there. Hopefully these two will be running into a tag team title match coming up to SummerSlam. The rumors going around that the Leader of the World was supposed to lose the tag team titles to the AOP at SummerSlam, but right now the B team have the tag titles. They might only have until next week, which if they do, what was the point? Ember Moon versus Sarah Logan. This was a pretty decent match until the end. These two, the whole time this match is going on, though, the whole time Sarah Logan versus Ember Moon is going on, you have Michael Cole talking about he got an email last week from Sarah Logan, telling about her past, how she's born, has Viking blood in her, how she was born a Viking. And I'm like, why? Why are you guys trying to change the backstory of Sarah Logan during a match? I mean, wasn't it like months ago she was raised by wolves, and then she was raised on her granddaddy's potato farm, and now she's a Viking? Will we decide what Sarah Logan's background is so we can just move on from that? Are we going to come out with a country accent, like a Vikingist accent now? Is she going to start talking like she's a Viking? When she starts talking, is she going to cut the country accent out? I don't know. It made no sense. Ember Moon showed why she is one of the best women on the roster, highly underutilized. She goes up for the Eclipse. Liv Morgan gets on the apron. She gets knocked crotch and falls off by Sarah Logan. Sarah Logan gets to 1, 2, 3, and I'm thinking this was Ember Moon's first loss on the main roster, and this is how you're going to do it. This is how you're going to do it. Ember Moon's going to lose her first match this way. Give me a break. Why? I don't know. They just WWE doesn't make some sense sometimes. That just made no sense. Then we have Elias versus Rollins versus Bobby Lashley. Apparently next week on the 23rd, Walk with Elias, the IP for not the IP, but the first album for Elias will be dropping. I don't know if that's a legit thing or if they're just using that just for him to say, hey, I got something going on. I'm still waiting for the Elias WWE special to come on the WWE Network just to see what that's all about, but there's no date on that yet. Maybe that's what that is the Walk with Elias thing is actually going to be his WWE Network special on after Monday Night Raw next week. Who knows? Nothing on that yet. Bobby Lashley ends up winning this one with a spear. What was the point of last night's match? I have in my notes right here. Why was that match? This match was a pretty good match. Bobby Lashley, dude sweats gallons. This dude was sweating from the start of the match. It was just wow. But Finn Balor, not Balor, but Rollins and Lashley, it was coming down to Rollins or Lashley for this match, plain and simple. There was no way I saw Elias winning this match. I honestly would have hoped to see Rollins versus Roman Reigns next week, just because, you have that story if it's the Shield brothers one-on-one for the first time probably since 2016's Money in the Bank, when Seth Rollins beat Roman Reigns for the WWE Championship before getting cashed in by Dean Ambrose. Everyone held their own. This was a pretty good match. This was like, I don't know what WWE's infatuation with triple threat matches are. Hell, I thought they were just going to do a 6-pack challenge. You had 6 guys out there. Let's do a triple threat matches, 2 of them, like we did for. This is honestly the way they built for Survivors for SummerSlam in 2016 for the Universal Championship. I think it was triple threats. It wasn't fatal 4-ways. You had 2 multi-man matches, and the winners faced off against each other, and the winners of those multi-man matches would have faced Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship at SummerSlam. Pretty much the same concept here. The winners of these 2 go on to face Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship at SummerSlam. What's going to happen next week? Obviously, Roman Reigns is going to win, and we'll have a 3-week build, where we'll have a 3-week build between SummerSlam, after next week's show and SummerSlam, for WWE to try and make us care about Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns 3 for this year, 4 in single matches overall. Just WWE the way they're doing it. The Bayley and Sasha Banks thing, I don't know where they're going with this. I did not expect the whole having Sasha Banks turn into the into like somebody who just like lets it all out like that. That is like, I have no idea what's going on there. We like I said, we had something that was interesting when you had Bayley beat the holy hell out of her. Looked like we could have had maybe an Extreme Rules stipulation match at Extreme Rules between these 2, which of course WWE dropped the ball on that, which way Extreme Rules went. I'm pretty sure glad we didn't see that. Will this lead to these 2 having a SummerSlam match? I don't know. But that one leaves me perplexed. I don't know what's going on with that. One week they're beating the hell out of each other. The next week they're all happy-go-lucky and everything, and now you have Sasha Banks just professing her love for Bayley. Where that goes from there, I don't know, and I'm confused. Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins looks like we might have a build towards that with the way those 2 stared down tonight. I was honestly thinking that Drew McIntyre was probably going to maybe get involved at the main event match tonight to screw Seth Rollins out of his shot at the Universal Championship, to set up a match for SummerSlam between these 2, but that did not happen. And with Dolph Ziggler, I have no idea where they're going to go and who's going to challenge him for the Intercontinental title going into SummerSlam. It's not going to be Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins already had his chances. He's done, over with. Bobby Roode did not win tonight, so that's not going to happen that way. I have no idea. But that is Monday Night Raw review for you tonight. There was not much else other than the triple threat matches, and the Bayley Sasha Banks saga continues. I don't know, like, it just feels like whoever is writing the Bayley Sasha Banks stuff is bipolar. One week they hate each other, one week they love each other, one week they're wanting to kill each other, next week they're friends. I don't get it. It's just what it is. Make sure to find me on Twitter at @TheFrance. Hit that follow button over there. Find me on twitch.tv/TheFrance08. Hit that follow button over there. Hit that subscribe button too if you so like to. And as well as hit that subscribe button here. Comment down below. Like or dislike this video. And I will see you guys tomorrow for SmackDown Live, where we will have a rematch between Shinsuke Nakamura and Jeff Hardy for the United States Championship, which I honestly think Randy Orton will get involved and do like Tommaso Ciampa did to Johnny Gargano when Johnny Gargano tried to face Aleister Black for the NXT Championship, and he is going to blindside Jeff Hardy on his way to the ring and pretty much take him out of the match, so there will be no match, and you will write Jeff Hardy off until after SummerSlam, probably after Hell in a Cell, so he can take about a 2-month hiatus to, clear up those injuries. And of course, we'll see what else happens with the WWE Championship. I'm pinning for Samoa Joe, and let's see how much more they can make a fool out of Asuka. And there's also, I guess there's talk that James Ellsworth last night for WWE was last night. I'm hoping that's true, so we can get past the James Ellsworth clown and move on to something else. But I'm getting out of here. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and have a good one.